we go. Here we go. Okay, we are so sorry about this. Someone apparently pressed the wrong button, so that's going to be the
Shane.
out. Yep, that's
Part
the
2
outtake of the
hopefully
year.
will be better
man.
than part 1.
We won't say any names, but Shane left and the stream ended. So what's that tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. There you go.
Oh, it's working. The chat came
Yeah.
right over.
Yep. So
Yeah, they're
holy
coming in
cow.
slowly.
And we're back.
Yep, we're back. We're
Take
back.
2.
Dennis.
College football after dark. Take 2.
Yep, at 2.
So, Jeffrey, you wasn't in here earlier.
You didn't know we did
I've been-
cliffhangers, did you?
I've been anxious to hear Jeffrey's take on the Alabama-Georgia game yesterday. You wasn't in here earlier. I want to hear your take on the Alabama-Georgia game yesterday, Jeffrey.
Thanks, Joey. I appreciate it. I was floored by the game as a whole, because even though, I wanted Alabama to win because I do like Alabama, I was like, man, this game is not interesting. It was just they were blowing them out. I'm like, wow, I couldn't believe it. Georgia, I would have never thought that they would have gotten down 30-7 like that. I remember 28-0. It was insane how poorly that they played on defense, how great Alabama looked on offense. I mean, I was not expecting that, especially after the way Alabama played against South Florida for the second straight season. This time with Milroe in the game, I'm like, this is going to go down the wire. It's going to be a one-score game either way. I picked Alabama to win, but barely. I think by like 3. But, just insane how dominant Alabama looked in the first half, showcasing that if they're at their best, Alabama might be the best team in college football this year, or the second best team at the very least. But then the second half happened, and then they let Georgia come all the way back. And when they took the lead on the one throw, the 67-yard pass, I was like, I don't know, man. Georgia might have it. They've come back. They've done it. And then Ryan Williams. Me and Jackson, we've talked about Ryan Williams. We did it a lot on the Alabama postgame last night. Ryan Williams, what a player. At 17 years old, true freshman. I mean, he already had the insane catch where he bobbled it a million times and called it after all.
Best wide receiver in the country.
And then you had Ryan Williams do the 2 spin moves to score on one play after Georgia scored on one play, took the lead back, and then Alabama picked them off at the end by another freshman, which is impressive, showing that Bama has a lot of young guys that are going to be very vital to the team in the future, and showing that hopefully Kalen DeBoer can keep Alabama toward the top of college football when some people thought they would decline. So it's looking good for Bama. I'm still not, convinced, that this is a national championship team or anything like that. We got a long way to go. Tough games left, but it was a fantastic game. I think Bama answered a lot of questions, but I do think they still have a few questions as well. But yes,
I remember
the best receiver in college football. I agree.
When I was watching that game, Jeffrey, and you're too young to remember it, I'm sure. You probably maybe seen the game or heard about the game. I can remember the 2006 Sugar Bowl. It was West Virginia and Georgia. That game also was 28-0 with West Virginia winning 2 minutes into the second quarter. Then 2 games were mirror image of each other. In that game, Georgia comes storming back. Georgia ended up losing 34-31 to West Virginia in the Sugar Bowl that year. This time was 41-34, whatever. So, but it was mirror image games for the first half and the second half of that game. It was crazy. I've never seen Georgia play that bad in the first half since that 2006 Sugar Bowl, and I've never seen a team seen Georgia play as good as they did the second half of that game, just like they did in the 2006 Sugar Bowl. So,
yeah, you lost to 2 of the 3 best teams in the country right there. It's them, Alabama, and Texas, and to me, Alabama is the best team in the country. I don't know who can beat them, to be honest with you. They got Mike Vick 2.0 at quarterback. They got the best, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the country. He's only 17 years old. The dude is out. The moves he makes in space are ridiculous. I mean, it's insane the way he spins, jukes in open space. The 17-year-old kid. They're strong at the lines of scrimmage. Their defense is one of the best in the country. I don't know who's going to beat that team.
They got a good field goal kicker.
Wait. Their defense is one of the best in the country? Bama's this year?
Most definitely.
No. Sorry.
Yeah.
We'll see in Rocky Top for sure. We'll see in Rocky Top how good that is.
Tennessee is a better defense than Alabama. I'm sorry.
That first half.
I think their defense is a step off from where it's been in recent years.
I totally disagree. I don't know what game are you basing that off of this year?
Yeah,
Georgia scored
anybody
35
in the first half.
Well, I mean, the fact that they played.
I know, but Georgia is one of the best teams in the country. That's
Their
not
offense is not one of the best teams in the country.
Well,
Georgia's
there's
offense is
look,
mediocre.
Yeah,
We're talking about.
they're
Bama's
still
defense.
Georgia. Like they can scheme up against anybody. I'm not just because they're not as good as they've been in the past couple years. They can scheme up against anybody. The fact of the matter is, to me, Alabama on both sides of the ball is one of the best teams in the country, and they are the best team in the country.
Their offense is legit.
They do.
I'm not crowning them anything on the defense. Especially, I mean, did you see what that secondary did in the second half? It was abysmal.
yeah. That's a major
coaching,
question.
That's coaching to me.
Well,
That's not
team,
that they're
isn't
not
it?
capable. That's not that they're not capable. They showed in the first half. They completely dominated. To me, that's coaching. In the second half, they just made some bad decisions with adjustments and deciding how they were going to play. Like, they left their corners on islands a lot. They should have just played too high the whole second half. But that's a whole nother discussion. That's coaching to me.
But yeah, so our buddy Will saw Notre Dame having a huge win against Louisville. What was your take on the Fighting Irish going up against Louisville?
Well, I'm not sure how many people actually saw the game because it was only on Peacock, but it was a freaking crazy football game. I'm like, holy crap! Like, there's a lot of turnovers on both sides. I think it might have been even at the end. I mean, Louisville had more turnovers on downs, but in terms of just like giving the ball away, there's like a ton in this one. Like the Irish muffed the kickoff. Like the guy Devin Ford fumbled the kickoff on the opening kickoff return, and then Louisville scored, and I'm like, no, please no.
I didn't see the game, Will. Was it raining or something, or was there bad weather?
No, it was just people not taking care of the football.
No one saw it because it was on Peacock.
Yeah.
It's such a travesty, man.
But then,
like,
we had 2 games between ranked teams this week on Peacock. A joke.
They're trying to make people get that subscription.
I mean,
I hate Peacock too, man. It freezes up all the time. It always freezes up. It's like, why are they doing it?
I don't like Network Plus. It don't work.
Oh yeah, and it locks you into watching one game because it takes like 5 minutes to log into it to get to the game, and then you get out. You want to go back to it. Yeah, it's a major issue.
But after that, then Riley Leonard looked like as good as he did, has all season. That next drive, they got a touchdown, and then they fumbled. They botched then Louisville turns it over on downs. I'm trying to remember if it was a botched punt or no. Yeah, it was. I think it was a. I'm trying to remember. I don't totally remember what happened. I think they botched the. They botched the punt or something. I don't totally remember what happened.
Did you see how Buffalo lost to UConn?
Yeah, that's
they
great.
got blown out by you.
What is going on with the Notre Dame, Northern Illinois, Buffalo, UConn trail that's happening here? It looks terrible, Will. They shouldn't have lost.
I'm trying to remember what the heck happened on that play, but I don't remember. But then the Irish scored, and then Louisville punted, and there was another fumble. I mean, it was just a crazy game.
I don't want to.
The a big problem for the Irish. I mean, the offense was kind of brutal in the second half, but the defense made enough plays. There's a ton of injuries for the Irish in this game, so we're going to see how bad the injuries are in Marcus's press conference. But the defense made enough plays at the end to win. Bad clock management by Jeff Brom there at the end, but they didn't even. And then there's like a 4th and 1 on their last drive. And then they took a delay. It looked like they got the first down, but they didn't get the snap off. It was delay a game on Louisville. And then the next play, Shug threw an incompletion to end the game. So the Irish probably aren't winning a playoff game, unfortunately. But
well, they're not even going to get in the playoff.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
They're not even going to get in there.
Well, if
Notre
they
Dame
improve
wins
and
out,
start
they'll
blowing
make the
teams
playoff.
out, I think they can sneak in.
I
If
don't know,
Notre
man.
Dame-
That
if Notre
Northern
Dame-
Illinois loss is
If
pretty
Notre
bad.
Dame goes 11-1 and wins out, they will make the college football playoffs. They're
Who do
already
they got?
ranked. What are they ranked?
They
at
will,
right
but they will. But if they don't, they won't be able
Yeah,
to.
what are they
There's
ranked?
no
That's a
margin
good
for error
question.
for them right
Yeah,
now.
they're already. I know the CFP rankings are different than
They're
the
ranked
AP
16th before the Louisville game, so they'll probably
They're
move
ranked
up.
14th in the AP
See,
poll.
if they win out, they're making it. They're making it.
Who do they play?
USC.
They
got-
don't have much. I mean, well, especially because Florida State, that doesn't look like much of a game right now. USC, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how good USC is the rest of the year. I have a feeling that's not going to be real
They play
impressive.
Clemson at all?
Not
No.
this year.
Oh, so
Miami,
they
you were
really
supposed to play
They
Miami.
got a very soft
You
schedule
were
the rest of
supposed
the
to
way.
play Miami, but then Miami backed out of it.
Here's the thing.
I don't know if
guys.
Notre Dame can win out though. That's the problem because
Well,
they're not
luckily,
trustworthy. But if they do, they will make it.
Here's the thing, though. You're not considering. Let's say they go 11-1, but there's a 10-2 team with a much better resume.
Well, I
Well,
don't know.
There's not. They'll be in the top 11 or 12
If
I
Notre
don't
somewhere.
know,
Dame
man.
wins
They're
out,
11
they're
and
gonna make
1.
the college
In a
football
12
playoff.
There aren't going to be that many teams that are better.
I
There
agree
could be a
with you.
10-2 team where their two losses are versus a much better are versus much better opponents, and they might even have a better win. They might even have a better win. You're telling me they want to put a team like that over an 11-1 team where they really didn't beat anybody and lost to Northern Illinois?
There's almost no chance. They play mostly Power 5 opponents, and if you go 11-1 playing Notre Dame's schedule, you're going to be in the top 11. Like you're going to be a top
I don't know. I really don't know.
As
really don't know.
DK said here, Notre Dame's the only team in the country with 2 ranked wins. You can talk about how mid A&M is, but I think this Louisville team is just as good as a Louisville team from last year. Just
No,
Notre
it's
Dame played
not.
their worst game.
Well, Will, you've got a
I agree
Louisville.
with Will.
Hold on, y'all got a
Will.
Louisville fan. You got a Louisville fan in here now, and Dave Brown. Dave Brown, how good is Louisville? Dave,
Louisville.
hello, Dave, can you hear us?
Said, hey, props to Will. We outgained Notre Dame by 100 yards.
I know you. I mean, the defense
We're not that
stepped up when
bad.
they needed to, man.
Right.
I mean, y'all went for it a lot. I mean, Louisville probably could have won that game. I think it was a 50-50 game at the end. But Irish just pulled it out. Louisville could win that game. Could have definitely won that game on a different day. Yeah.
And I mean, on that note, I don't mean to disappoint our After Dark viewers with what could have been, but we did have an off-camera promise from one Austin Williams that if Louisville had won this game, he would perform a full pole dancing section.
Yeah, we're starting the rated R part of the show again. Thanks, Sean.
Yes. Sporting the voice of college football After Dark booty shorts. All the way.
Oh, fuck.
And we are, and unfortunately, we were deprived of that.
Yeah, way to go.
Of that wonderful sight.
Oh, Lord. Well, you can find something that actually makes sense, which is the Week 5 edition of the Top 25 that actually makes sense.
Jackson PG in it again. Good job.
Yeah.
Can we let Dave talk? Dave came to talk about the game.
Yeah, Dave's just kind of like silent Bob.
I've got a lot of football left.
Mm-hmm.
My team gets no respect, and that's fine. That's fine. I've got to let you got to see us on the field. We've had some good years. We're not I've been following this team since 1965. I wasn't in the stands. I was on the sideline with Doug Buffon in 1965. Buffon played for the Bears in the 60s and 70s. Okay, I was just a little kid, granted, understand that. But I've seen a lot of losing football. I've seen a lot of winning football too, but it wasn't at my school.
Dave, I would be excited about that Miami game.
Dave Brown, weren't you the coach in 1982?
Coach, I was still in, that was my last year. Beyond my senior year, that was my 5th year.
Dave, I think you can beat Miami. Like, you better give TF crap before the game. Like, I want to see you guys
I took my Miami shirt off late last night. I had it on.
Well, Dave,
Oh,
you've always got your victory over Georgia Tech, who had a victory over Florida State that really don't matter now. But I'm just letting you know, you've always got your victory
It
over
looked
Georgia
good at
Tech.
the time.
It looked good at the time.
So,
In 5
Dave,
games, I'm 2-3. I've lost 3 times to Notre Dame. Okay, so that was for the series lead. You know, they're not the same Notre Dame that they were, for 30 and 40 years that I watched. Okay, we caught them a few times, maybe in off years. You know, it's a game. You win on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we've got SMU next week. You know, and some of these teams people call cupcakes, but they pulled everybody we're playing has beat somebody of note, if you will, or surprisingly, or Pitt beating WVU in the backyard brawl. You know, I got SMU. I got Miami coming up. You know,
we will get to Miami in a little bit.
Up. Now I have to beat both Miami and Clemson to maybe get to the ACC championship game. To hell with Notre Dame. I've got just as much of a shot to get into the playoffs as Notre Dame does.
Yeah.
Because if we,
I think you have a better shot.
Yeah,
So,
you do have a better shot.
Wanted to ask you, Dave Brown.
Possibly, but I must win. I can't lose it anymore. That's for damn sure.
So I wanted to ask you, Dave, about what do you think's gonna happen with Louisville for the rest of this year? Because next Saturday is the matchup against SMU, 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. What's your early take on this game so far? And after that, we'll get to was it a touchdown or interception with a certain team that you're going to play in October?
Yeah, well, that was something too. I'm glad I watched that one live. SMU better watch out because the boys are getting yelled at all week this week. You know, because they had an opportunity and they let it slip between their fingers. I mean, look at the quarterback. You know, he had a 30-yard run or whatever, and he's a 7th-year player. He's 25 years old. It was his 25th birthday yesterday, and he freaking fumbles the ball after getting 30 yards on a run.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got to control the ball. You can't, do stupid shit against good teams and expect this to stay in the, it's all we can do to come back, if you will. You know, we got down 21-7, and then, there's down by 2 touchdowns, but we only, the clock management, all those things you guys talked about. There's a lot of problems that need to be worked on. So there's going to be a lot of yelling, a lot of pumping iron, hard workouts, just whatever. People are saying, watch out, SMU, you're about to get slaughtered because we're angry. We're upset with ourselves, like a good football team should be. Like, oh, I fucked up. Now I've got to do a lot better next week.
I'll say this. SMU is seems like they're hitting their 5th cylinder right now, though. A couple of really good wins back-to-back. I mean, I know Florida State stinks, but they absolutely whipped them yesterday. And then they beat TCU the week before. I mean, it looked early on like SMU might not be much this season, but they're looking sharp last couple.
Look, man. I mean, Memphis whooped FSU. I think if you beat FSU this season, it's literally like beating. That's true, but I feel like beating FSU is like beating your little brother who's 5 years old at basketball. I don't think it's really something you can to brag about. It's like, okay, yeah, I beat them, but I was supposed to beat them. Like they're nothing. They're garbage.
Honestly, that Florida State team is just atrocious. And, Will, I'm sorry to say, but this is kind of like watching 2007 Notre Dame 2.0.
Well, for Florida State?
The 2024 Florida State? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, that team also had bad Tyrone Willingham recruiting in Charlie's first year. I mean, that team was gonna be bad, even if
Charlie Wise kind of just supposed to be.
I mean, that team. If that team had freaking Newt Rockne, it would have went. They probably would have won the Navy game. I don't know how many more. Maybe the Purdue game that in 2007. That team wasn't making a bowl, even if you had like the best coaching staff ever. Like,
yeah, this Florida State season's more embarrassing.
Yeah, like Charlie Weiss just looked like the kind of guy that was sitting there like a knot on a log. He was just like,
Charlie knew how to scheme up plays. He did not know how to develop players. That's Charlie Weiss for you, man. Like,
Like-
because Ty wasn't a great recruiter, but he was a decent developer of players. And then Charlie coached the players. So those 05 and 06 teams weren't national championship teams, but they were good teams. They won. They had some. I mean, that 06 Michigan game was a stinker, but besides that, I feel like they never really had a horrible game. Like they were.
07 is the year that Michigan beat you guys 38-0.
Yeah,
right?
you guys should have. Like that was not a good Notre. That was
Michigan was 0-2 going into that game. I remember.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding us.
But with SMU, let's get back to SMU for a moment, shall we? So the narrative was SMU is a disaster after week 0. SMU, they're not ready for a power conference after they lost to BYU. But suddenly, and they dominated TCU on the CW. Now they dominate Florida State. And next Saturday they got Louisville. Panel, what is your thought on SMU for the rest of the 2024 season? We'll start with you.
They're going to be one of the better teams in the ACC. I mean, but they're going to a hostile environment in Louisville. Listen, man, I'm wearing Louisville A&M hat. I'm going to be wearing a USC hat the whole year, so people like Michigan, man, aren't going to say our schedule stinks. Like if we beat 3 top 25 teams, I think we'll be in the playoff if we win all of our games, even with the.
I just don't understand, Will, why Notre Dame couldn't lose to Louisville or USC or A&M instead of having to lose to Northern Illinois. It's just so.
I know that's the thing, man.
Notre Dame is actually not a terrible team. They're not. They've proven that. But why did they lose that game? It's effort.
Okay, they lost
let's say
Stanford and Marshall last year.
It's an effort problem.
Yeah. Let's say I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say Michigan is 10-2 and their only losses are Texas and Ohio State. You're telling me that they're going to put Notre Dame at 11-1 over that team? No, that's not happening.
I just don't think there's going to be that many teams that are going to be that good.
I agree with Will. Notre Dame's going to get in at 11-1.
Like, if that happens,
I don't think so, man. That's not how they look at it.
The 2-loss thing really matters. There's probably going to be 3-loss teams that make a 12-team playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Alabama,
the thing about SMU is this week. They're going into a hornet's nest in Louisville because Louisville's coming off a loss, and they're going to be fired up and ready to play. So SMU's looking like a decent team, but I'm not giving them a lot of credit right now. I mean, because you think about it, they beat Florida State and TCU. Okay, they lost to BYU, and it was a close game. And BYU is probably one of the better teams in the Big 12 right now. But they're going into Louisville. And I just have a feeling that Louisville is going to hand it to SMU this week. I just don't see a chance of SMU winning that game because you're going into the heart. SMU is finally going into the heart of ACC country. I'm talking when I say the heart of ACC country, I mean in the middle, right there. Inside the heart. Yeah. They played Florida State, but they're going into the heart of ACC country right now. And I have a feeling that Louisville will take them and beat them down a little bit.
Right.
How you like that, Dave Brown?
Dave Brown, Kentucky.
Now, Dave Brown, my
the ACC.
Wait a minute, Dave Brown. I got to tell you what my Cash App is, so you can send me that money that you told me for saying that. So.
I'd like to win by 1 touchdown. I'm not going to ask for anything more than that. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. When I picked the score for this Notre Dame game, I said 28-21. Last week. I don't know if any of you guys saw it. I didn't say who was going to win.
Yeah.
And that's how not confident I was because we hadn't played anybody yet. We got a brand new quarterback. We start our season with 2 cupcakes, then had a bye week, and then had this Notre Dame game. And it showed, obviously. That was the first real game. Well, Georgia Tech, is what I meant to say. That was our first real game. And then Notre Dame. So we're kind of sketchy right now, but the components are there. The kid's thrown for a couple 100 yards and a couple touchdowns every game this season. He's a better quarterback than what we had last year, and we started out 10-1, but it was a weaker schedule. We've got a killer schedule with Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson, and Kentucky at the end of it. In addition to Pittsburgh, SMU, and a couple of others. Maybe Virginia will be our easiest game.
You say legitimate team. You beat Georgia Tech. You got to remember Georgia Tech lost to Syracuse. So,
Syracuse has an elite QB.
Yeah, the guy you guys couldn't wait to get rid of.
Hey, you know what, man? Hey, I think Will Howard might be a downgrade if I'm keeping it above.
That's the first time Sean's ever said.
We'll get to Ohio State in about a few minutes, but there was a Friday night event in Miami Gardens, Florida. A certain Hurricanes team was trailing by 10. Cam Ward made a huge play here and there, but it kind of felt overshadowed by that last play of the game. Was it an interception? Was it a touchdown?
Virginia Tech.
Neither. It was neither. It was neither.
Incomplete pass is what it was.
It's an incomplete pass, yeah.
Okay, can I say something?
Absolutely. Let's hear your point.
If it takes 7 minutes for it to review, then it's not indisputable. If they're still disputing about the call in the booth, I don't care. Okay, if it's an incomplete pass, if it takes them that, even if it is an incomplete pass, if it takes them 7 minutes to determine that it's an incomplete pass, then just let it stand.
Virginia Tech should have won the game.
Yeah, I'm not going to say Virginia Tech should have won the game, but at the same time, I agree. That's what I was saying earlier. If the replay booth could get their act together, indisputable video evidence means indisputable. And I'm sorry, I mean, I can sit and say I think he dropped that ball, and I do think he dropped that ball. But it's a think. I think that ball was knocked out of his hand before he had it complete. Not conclusive. That's indisputable. That indisputable video evidence means you've seen it, you know it knocked out of his hands, and everything. Now, I will say this, though. The replay booth has different angles than we do, supposedly. I don't know how true that is because we never get to see them, but they say the replay booth has different views than we do. Now, I know I've been to a lot of football games, and I see the cameras around the field. I don't see any extra cameras around the field, and they're saying that they've got extra views. I don't know where these extra views. Maybe they tap into everybody's cell phones or something on the game. I have no idea. So, but anyway, yeah, no, I indisputable video evidence is indisputable, and disputable is disputable. And when I agree, if it takes you a long time to review a call, then it's not indisputable. Period.
I understand.
I'll add a little interjection to that point. To really get the full, because there was so much obstruction, there were so many bodies involved in this, it took multiple different camera angles to kind of piece together what happened here. And that's, I mean, I knew immediately when I saw it that this was going to be a long review. I think they came to the right conclusion. I think once you look at a couple of these different angles and you see it head on, I mean, nobody from Virginia Tech ever looked like they really had possession of the ball. That ball was juggling, rolling around all the time. And it ended up in the possession of a Miami player that was out of bounds. But it took several different camera angles, and you probably want to look each one of them over a bunch. And because it's such a critical call, I mean, literally the entire game rides on this call. So you're going to want to be extra cautious about your call here. Like you're going to want, if you think it's indisputable, you want to verify this. You want to look at the camera angle. You take 20 minutes. Take 20 minutes for all I care. Like it was so critical. It was such an important decision. Like you better be damn certain when you make this call. So
here's a great point, Sean. Here's a great point on that. So everybody is focused on the end of that game and that final play, rightly so, right? But here's a great point about this game and Small Time Republic and Jackson. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to do your job, but I'm gonna throw this up for just a second. He says, "I'm not sure why Virginia Tech faked a field goal while up 10 points."
If you fake it there, don't run it up the middle. That's what I say. If you fake it, throw a fade route and have the receiver jump up and get it.
Thank you,
Run
Will.
up the middle, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All-time Republic makes an excellent point.
That's what I'm saying. That's why when I said Virginia Tech should have won this game, all you guys were saying, thinking, assuming that I was talking about that play. I was talking about in general. Virginia Tech should have won the game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and the record of Brent Pry of one-score games, because they showed it during the game. Virginia Tech is 1-9 in one-score games under Coach Pry. Now they're 1-10.
It sounds like Scott Frost all over again.
Yeah. And as for Mario Cristobal, he's 29-30 as a whole, and he's now 4-6 in one-score games at Miami. So, and yeah, because it was like, I was impressed with that one play Cam Ward made in the fourth quarter. Don't get me wrong. I was super impressed with it. But again, you shouldn't be losing to kind of a bad Virginia Tech team. I mean, they're not exactly, I'm not sure what the record's going to be, but it's not exactly the record of an ACC contender.
Virginia Tech lost to Vanderbilt, and I know that Vanderbilt hung with Missouri, but I mean, Missouri's. It's just Virginia Tech's not a great team. If Miami was legitimately a top 10 team, they would have beaten Virginia Tech accordingly, like what they were favored to win by, and they didn't. There's still problems with Miami. They're getting by right now, but there's still problems.
The edge rusher for VT was good. I can't think of the guy's name, but he was good though. I mean, he's good. If Cam Ward has pressure in his face, he will make mistakes. Like that's why I don't think they beat Clemson, even though Clemson got just brutalized by Georgia. I think Clemson's gonna get in.
It's a week 1 game.
Yeah,
that is more about Georgia.
I think if they get in his face, he'll make mistakes, and I think Klubnik actually looks competent enough that he can do enough. And I think Clemson wins that game if they play now against Miami.
I think Clemson's a top 16 personally.
But Miami does not play Clemson this season.
ACC championship.
But I'm playing both.
Yeah, the ACC is such a tough conference to predict, though. I mean, like I do believe in Miami. I think Miami will probably lose the game somewhere along the way, just because it's kind of hard to go through a whole season and not stumble a little bit. But the rest of the ACC, I don't know. I don't know if I should believe in Clemson or not. It's
You definitely can't believe in North Carolina.
Oh no!
Well, my beliefs in North Carolina are solid. They are not good.
Because one guy in the chat was saying no one's talking about Duke. Well, we at the Voice College Football do, and I got to tell you, that was disastrous at that North Carolina defense.
North Carolina should have won the game, and they blew it. Just sick.
20-0.
It's sick. That game was infuriating, Jackson. Infuriating.
Oh man! Like
so.
Jeffrey,
So does that mean? Let me ask y'all a question. Is Matt Brown done?
I think Matt Brown.
Yeah.
The expiration date has been passed for Matt Brown. He is expired.
If allowing 70 points versus James Madison didn't solidify it, pissing away a 20-point lead against the Duke team most certainly does. And I'm looking at this stat from Pick 6 previews that for the first time since 1994, one of the best years to go to the movies, Duke is 5-0. Like that's something to really think about.
And that schedule isn't great, but hey, man, Handy Manny's getting those wins. I mean,
they barely beat Northwestern, and they're bad, and they barely beat North Carolina, and they're bad. So we need to see more from Duke. It's still a great story, though.
This is
Matt Brown.
This is very Dino Baber Syracuse, I think, of Duke.
Yeah.
Matt Brown is such a good coach.
They beat UConn by 5 points. Okay.
Yeah, that's bad.
Let's not make them out to be anything more than
not
just
great. North Carolina is garbage. That's the problem. They're garbage.
Well,
it's coming from
Matt Brown has been
North Carolina is probably their best. That's the best team they've beaten so far this year. Is North Carolina.
I was going to say Matt Brown's been such a good coach for 30 years and stuff.
Yeah.
And and Matt Brown honestly is a stand-up guy. I mean, because after James Madison, he did say, I probably should step down. I'm willing to step down, and they told him no. And after last week, I told my wife, I was sitting there watching that Duke game. I was like, okay, this is it for Matt Brown. He's probably going to just throw in the towel right here. And definitely he will at the end of the year. There's no doubt in my mind. Matt Brown. North Carolina is looking for a head coach right now. And I just want to say, North Carolina, Neil Brown may be available. Just letting you know. Just heads up.
I would go with Chadwell. Get Chadwell.
Yeah. No, West Virginia's got to have Chadwell. Just let him have Neil Brown.
North Carolina needs Chadwell. Come on.
So I just want to make this clear. Matt Brown, at 73 years old, Hall of Fame career, one of the most respected people in his profession, realizes the game might have passed him by, and it would be better for the future of the program that it's in more capable, more viable hands. I wonder if any politicians in our country listen to that.
No. I just look at how cheap.
Were there any senators, not naming anybody in particular, any presidential candidates that might have been paying attention to that? Were there?
Obviously
Some people
not.
can still be old though and be competent. I mean, Mike Krzyzewski was still good at Duke, even though he was really old. I mean, I just think football's a little bit different than basketball, though. Too, it's a lot more.
It's a much bigger task. Yeah, it's a much bigger job running a football program than a basketball program.
Like you can be really old, and like if you don't do that much, you can still do your job, I guess. But yeah, it's when you have a lot of responsibility though, then it's tougher.
The thing about it is, if North Carolina, I just wish North Carolina would look at how cheap it would be to go ahead and change coaches and hire Neil Brown, because the rebranding would be so easy. Because anything you got Brown on as head coach could just stay Brown. You wouldn't have to rename everything. So just think about that. I'm just letting you know, North Carolina.
I don't think that should actually matter, Joey.
Shut up, Jeffrey.
Satterfield to North Carolina. He was in App State, remember? Satterfield. Cincinnati don't want him.
Nobody wants
Neither did Louisville. Neither did Louisville, really, and neither does North Carolina.
It would be funny if they hire Bob Chesney from James Madison.
Oh yeah,
hire the guy that beat you, like Notre Dame did with Ara Parseghian. Like Ara beat Notre Dame when he was with Northwestern. They hired him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I always say if you can't beat them, hire them.
Pat McAfee to West Virginia.
There you go.
Oh my God,
he would be a good recruiting guy. It would be visits when the players all visit and stuff. I think he could do a good job of
he could
trying to
still have the Pat McAfee show.
It would
Could you imagine
2.0 though?
Could you imagine how entertaining the post games and stuff would be after if Pat McAfee was the head coach? I mean, it would be fired up. I don't think West Virginia could pay Pat McAfee enough money. I think he makes just a little bit more than anybody in the country could pay him right now. So.
With slightly less stress than running a Division I power program.
Yeah,
you can make the same amount to work 90 hours a week and have half the country hate you at any given time, and
oh man,
or you can make the same amount of money and just dick around on camera for 20 hours a week.
Rich Rod.
Yeah,
Rich Rod. Hey,
that's Mill
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't believe that'll ever happen. Hey, I'm going to ask you a question though. And Jackson, do you mind? Jackson, do you mind if I ask everybody a question? I just want to ask everybody a question. Who's the best coach at the best fit of any school right now? And just give me a name, and then I'm going to give you mine. Jeffrey, let me start with Jackson. Jackson, who's the best coach at the best school that's the best fit right now?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I would say different directions.
Well,
Now they got to fit into the program, and they got to be doing well and stuff. Obviously, who's the best fit?
Kirby Smart at Georgia.
Okay, Jeffrey.
Well, see, that's the thing. I would agree with Jackson if you're talking about a great program, but if you're talking about a garbage program that's doing good, it's Kurt Cignetti.
Okay. Kirk Cinetti, graduate of WU, by the way. Will MD. How about you, man? Who's the best?
I would say Kirby, but Kirby's had the drinking problem, so I don't know about that.
Yeah,
so do I.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, their players can't call an Uber.
Mike Fort, do you have one in mind?
I'm thinking Kalen DeBoer, Alabama.
That's what I was going to say. I was
Yeah,
gonna say Kalen
Michigan
DeBoer.
man.
Well. Yeah.
Michigan man, do you have one in mind?
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer.
Okay, Dave.
I'm going to go with Franklin at Penn State.
Okay.
What?
Sean, why not? I mean, it's somebody.
Okay.
Sean?
Unexpected answer.
Best coach, best fit.
Best fit. Yeah.
I might go Dan Lanning at Oregon right now.
I was starting to think that too, Sean.
Okay.
All
right, now here's mine.
Everybody did my top 5. The only one I would add would be Whittingham.
Okay, here's mine. Here's mine.
Whittingham's definitely that. I mean,
Let Joey speak, everybody. Let Joey speak.
All right,
Joey,
so here's my pick, and I think when I say this, you're all going to agree with me, because 20 years he did the same damn thing he's doing today. Greg Schiano at Rutgers.
Yeah,
Greg Schiano at Rutgers.
One, I think
The man can't coach anywhere but Rutgers, and he goes to Rutgers and he just tears it up. So Greg Schiano is the best fit at Rutgers.
He tears it up, and then they go 7-5, 8-4 every year.
Hey, that's good for Rutgers. Rutgers goes 3-8 every year, 3-9. I mean, they're
Do you
horrible.
remember the Chris Ash era? My lord.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
That was an automatic dub for anyone.
We beat them 78-0 under Chris Ash.
Indiana allowed 1 passing yard against Rutgers one year in that
Oh
era.
my god.
1 passing yard.
I think that Jeff Brom's a good fit at Louisville, Dave. What do you think? That's another good one.
Yeah, I mean, his father was our quarterback. Both of his brothers played for U of L as well as himself.
Yep. From Louisville proper too. Cardinal Mal.
Brett Bielema at Illinois is a good one.
People would have said
Troy.
PJ Fleck 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah,
they would have. Really would have. Yeah.
I was never high on Fleck.
It's interesting though that anyone would say Kalen DeBoer, given the fact that he is from nowhere near the South.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say it.
And he's from and
I can tell you why.
He's playing. The why is because he's a really good coach. That's why.
Well, yeah.
I mean, good coaches are good.
I would argue he's the next all-time great coach. Next all-time great. He took Washington to a national title. I mean, Ryan Day, given a Lamborghini and a trust fund, couldn't do that. So I mean, it is what it is.
Let's just think about this, though. I mean, Rutgers has beat Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, and then backed that up with a win against Washington. So Greg Schiano's doing a pretty good job. And so this week, Nebraska, they're going to Nebraska. So it's going to be Greg Schiano, going into Nebraska. And Nebraska's, look, they made a big turnaround too. So I'm just looking forward to that game a lot. That's a game I'm going to be keeping an eye on, Rutgers and Nebraska this week. And it's not a game I would normally watch. Nobody would normally care about that game. But Greg Schiano's made me care about it.
Well, the reason
Rutgers is the birthplace of college football. And what we see here is no Ohio State. It's a cinch. No Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, not even a shred of Oregon.
They don't even play Indiana.
Oh man.
Look, if Rutgers can pull out 7 or 8 wins in a season, that's really good for Rutgers.
They could win 9 games.
Rutgers
Oh, yeah.
nearly got kicked out of the Big East at one time, just like Temple. Rutgers nearly got kicked out of the Big East one time, just like Temple. Temple
How
got
did
kicked out
Temple
of the
not
Big
get
East.
kicked out? Or did they get kicked out?
Temple did get kicked out of the Big
got-
East.
okay, that makes
the boot.
Yeah. And
Temple
Rutgers
got
nearly
the
did
They
too.
the
So.
last team to get kicked out of a conference.
Temple was the last team to
Yep.
get kicked out of a conference. They got kicked out of the Big East. Sure did. I mean, you would have thought after all the years that Kansas struggled that they would probably be on the hot seat, but their basketball team kept them alive, right? So, but unfortunately, Temple didn't have either one. So,
Joey,
Vanderbilt
how did
won
Kansas
either,
State
and they
survive before
made it
Bill
in.
Snyder?
yeah, I know exactly, Will, because they were absolutely one of the worst teams in the country, and if you look at the Big 12. In all honesty, it's full of a lot of teams that used to be really, really bad. Kansas State used to be Iowa State. I mean, these teams were just horrible, and now they're pretty good programs, so it can challenge some people.
Now,
But
Kansas does have
that
good
Rutgers
teams.
team just surprises me big time. But when Greg Schiano showed back up there, I said, watch out, guys, because Greg Schiano is a coach for Rutgers. He fits in perfect. And he's showing it again. So.
Yep.
Kansas
And,
was
and
good
I'm
at
glad
one
we
point.
segue to Rutgers. So to anybody that watched Rutgers Washington, what was the takeaway from that game? Could we see a season just as magical as 2006?
Rutgers can run the football. That's all that you can say.
Yeah, it's not Ray Rice days. I mean, by any means, but
Monongai, he's pretty damn talented. I don't think he's that far off from what Ray Rice was. I mean, have you looked at like what he's been doing this year? It's pretty darn special.
No, I can't say I've been watching too much of Rutgers.
I mean, they had Pacheco recently, and he's been great in the NFL. So I mean, it's now they got Monongai, so like they're becoming a running back university.
Yeah, it seems like Greg Schiano can recruit a good running back. He can spot a good running back, can't he? I mean, and he's proved that time and time again.
They
So.
just need better QB play. I mean, if they had good quarterback play, because they've actually had a couple decent receivers the last few years. Bo Melton, I mean, they're not terrible there. It's just the quarterback play is garbage for them, for the most part. I don't think Calic Manis is that good, but he's better than Wimsett because he was not good at all. And they had a couple other guys who were bad previous few seasons.
You talking about the old backup from Minnesota?
Wimsett? Who? What?
Kelly Mandis, wasn't he like a backup at Minnesota or something?
He was the starter. He played last year. He was the starter for Minnesota last year, but
I thought he was only in because of injury. I thought he was a backup.
That was 2 years ago when Tanner Morgan was in his 8th year of eligibility or whatever it was.
Felt like 10.
And then like suffered like old man injuries, like you had, I don't know. So
well, we're going to see a couple of coaches that go up against each other this week. Rutgers with Greg Schiano and Nebraska with Matt Rule. So
I don't
think
trust
that
Nebraska just yet. They struggle with
I'm
Purdue.
leaning Nebraska if I had to put money on it, but I am not confident in Nebraska.
Same.
I'll be honest with you. If I'm putting money on it, I'm going to go with Rutgers. I like Matt Rule. I really do, but I'm going to go with Rutgers on that win.
No, I'm going with Nebraska and Lincoln here. I don't know what the line spread opened at, but it's probably like between 7 to 10 points somewhere.
So you're taking Nebraska just because they're a home team.
Yes, I would take.
I mean, well, yeah, I think that makes a big difference in a game like this.
I'd be surprised the line's over 4 though. I think
the line is Nebraska -7, but
I'll take Rutgers in the points on that one.
Yeah, I would too. Definitely.
Yeah, I probably would.
The points I'll take Rutgers, but straight up, I'm gonna wait a couple days on that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we segue over to Nebraska. I mean, 0-0. It was so bad that even Urinating Tree was talking about it, and he doesn't even talk about college football.
He follows Pitt, but he doesn't talk about it much.
No, but I just gotta tell you that game was a low-cal at the first half, but then I guess Nebraska.
I don't know how
Purdue
the
woke
heck
up-
Nebraska. I mean, I know we have more talent than Nebraska, but how did Nebraska not put up any points?
I checked this line at halftime. I looked at the box score at halftime. Nebraska had 210 yards in the first half and 0 points.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that in my life. One
Did they
half
have
of football, you have 200. It was 200. What?
Did they have any
Didn't-
turnovers? I didn't watch the game.
They missed 3 field goals in the first half. 3 field goals. Yep.
Well, that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So I'm looking at. Let me see. I think it was somebody. I forget his name. Oh, John Holt. There it is. That's the guy you're talking about. That's bad. That's gotta get fixed. You cannot have games like that when you go against Rutgers and Wisconsin and USC. You cannot have moments like that.
You know, Rutgers obviously is not going to be on like USC or Michigan or Ohio State's level right now. Right now, they're just not. But at the same time, could they beat Nebraska right now? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if Rutgers goes into Lincoln and pulls out a victory. So you know, but right now I would take Rutgers and the points. That 7-point spread, I would take Rutgers and the points. I wouldn't take them straight up winning.
So the offensive performance was so bad by Purdue, they were like, you know what? We got to fire Graham Harrell. And it was reported by Brett McMurphy a few hours ago as of today.
Oh, that was a smart move. I mean, they need help.
Yeah.
Joey, did you think he was that bad at WVU?
Yeah, because, well, remember, Dana Holgorsen hired Graham Harrell, and he let him call the plays in 2015, I think it was, but then he took them back over in 2016. Dana Holgorsen took the play calling back over. He didn't like the way Graham Harrell was calling the game. I think it was either 2015 and 2016 or 2016 and 2017. You know, so yeah, Graham Harrell, he might be a good offensive coordinator, and he's good at coaching that mesh system that Dana Holgorsen runs. You know, likes to run and stuff. But on game day, he didn't call the right plays and stuff to satisfy. I can remember Graham Harrell ran Will Greer into the end. We was playing Texas, and we were beating Texas, and we were down on like the 3-yard line, and was going to take us a bigger lead against Texas. And he ran Will Greer around the edge in the end zone, and Will Greer ended up breaking his finger. Do you guys remember that at all? Will Greer broke his finger, and then after that game, Ben Holgorsen said, "That was the worst play call I've ever seen in my life. Why are we running the quarterback? Why are we running the quarterback in that situation? We're on the 3-yard line. We got 2 good running backs that can run that ball. Why are we making our quarterback run that ball when he gets hurt?" And so after that, Graham Harrell did not call plays anymore. So
Wasn't he retained on Brown's staff? I could be wrong. He went somewhere.
Let me see.
I thought, didn't Graham Harrell go to USC for a minute?
Okay, I thought he was at USC.
He was at USC under Clay Helton, and then he went to coach
Then
under
he went back
Neil
to
Brown.
WVU. Yeah.
It's not a surprise it was under Clay Helton, though.
Yeah, then he was in
Right.
WVU in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Yeah, it does seem like if you ever sort of breathe the same air as Mike Leach, though, you do kind of get a bunch of opportunities as a coach, as you can. Like if you've ever,
Yeah, I mean,
So,
like if you're a janitor under Mike Leach, you get hired.
you'll probably be the offensive coordinator at a Group of 5 school or something like that. Yeah.
True. It's like, I was sending text messages to Mike Leach. Boom, you're hired. But there was someone that had a very disappointing day, and it was that Jordan Hare, the Auburn Tigers.
Auburn's
What was
always
going-
a disappointment, man.
I know, right? It's like they always fall apart.
They can't even surprise anybody anymore. They're a disappointment against bad teams, and they're now disappointed against good teams.
Bro, I think
that
Hugh Freeze
fits.
should be fired, man. I think
Don't
the guy-
throw the baby out with the bathwater on Hugh Freeze.
He
It's not
stinks
him.
though. Like there's been no improvement.
Who would they find better though?
His
He's
buyout
just,
is
he's just
pretty
not
high.
in his heyday back in the Ole Miss days, man.
I mean,
You
Auburn's
gotta-
been doing this, firing coaches or getting them to resign since after 1975 when Shug Jordan retired. I mean,
they had Pat Dye, and he was pretty good.
yeah, that's
Tommy
true.
Tuberville was there for a long time before he.
1999 through 2008.
Well, how many previous Auburn coaches are still on the payroll? I mean, isn't Harsin still getting paychecks from Auburn right now?
Oh, he's getting paid a lot, no doubt about it. You know, Gus Malzahn getting some.
And unfortunately, Auburn don't have the money Texas A&M does. So,
No.
you know, Texas A&M,
Most programs don't have the money A&M does, but a lot more programs have success over A&M.
Yeah.
It felt like Gus Malzahn was on the hot seat for like 6 years. Like they were waiting for any.
Malzahn was still the last good coach they had, though, and I mean good,
Yes,
not
yeah.
great, good.
I mean,
Well, Auburn-
they went to a national championship game with them. They won. They beat Bama like 4 or 5 times with them.
Almost, it was a little.
They
under.
beat out Gus
Yeah.
Malzahn. Auburn teams beat Alabama twice, and they were both in Auburn. The last Auburn victory in Tuscaloosa was 2010
Mhm.
under Gene Chizik in his second
But
year.
we can give Malzahn credit for that win. Basically, he basically was the coach.
Yeah,
of that
because
team,
he was
right?
the offensive coordinator. He was,
Yeah.
yep. But that's the thing, though, is did anybody watch College Game Day last Saturday when Nick Saban talked about Florida State, especially with Florida, where every time they fire a coach, you know, it doesn't end well for them, and that basically says it's a culture problem in Gainesville. So can we
Florida's
say
culture is horrible, and so is Florida State's. Both
it's
are
horse
terrible.
dung? It's basically just horse dung over there.
You can't even
But I
blame
mean,
the coaches. I mean, especially Norvell. Like, you can see what he can do.
Yeah.
But I mean, the entire university, the administration is garbage in both programs. I mean, neither of them should be losing this much, especially Florida State right now.
True. Well,
Yeah.
and I think honestly, because I mean, if this was Hugh Freeze's 4th, 5th year, then we could say, okay, fire him, can him. But his second year, and I mean, Auburn's not doing so well. I get that.
He's recruiting
But-
pretty well.
Exactly, you know, because he's doing a great job recruiting. He doesn't have all of his guys in yet, but I think when he gets all of his guys in, I think they could do a whole lot better than what they're doing right now. And the best part about being down is the way to go is up. And I think if Auburn can take a page from their basketball program, like for example with Bruce Pearl, when there were like some, you know, fans just squawking and crying and throwing a fit at the grocery store, saying, "Oh, we're not getting anything out of Bruce Pearl." Guess
I'm not
what?
saying that now.
Yeah,
Well,
Exactly.
Auburn's going to have a bye week after this week. Auburn will have a bye week, but 4 weeks from now, Auburn will most likely be 3-6,
oh,
and at the end of the year, they're probably going to finish 4-8.
yeah.
That's what I
And I,
think.
and I predicted him to go like 7-5 because I thought that was low considering what some people were saying.
Well,
Yeah.
Auburn year in, year out has a hellish schedule. So I mean,
Well, that should change a little bit because they're not in the they don't have the divisions anymore, so they're not in the
But
West.
don't they still have to play Alabama and Georgia every year? Though?
Yeah, they do. They do have those. Those are protected rivalries. Which
Yeah,
Yeah.
Auburn's wishing they didn't have them rivalries right now.
Yeah,
Honestly.
they want to be playing, Vanderbilt and
yeah,
stuff like
let's
that.
go play
They won't
South
even have
Carolina and
it.
Mississippi.
Kentucky.
Yeah,
They should start some beef with Mississippi State and say no. We got to play them every year. We really don't like each other.
They still could lose to them, probably.
They could. They definitely.
Auburn don't want to play.
Slow, they could lose.
Auburn don't want to play Kentucky this year. Auburn don't want to play Kentucky this year.
I don't either.
Texas more of a fight than
Kentucky woke up after losing 31-6. That's all I can say.
Oh
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh man, that Kentucky Ole Miss game, that was pretty interesting. We went from talking about the fake injury by Ole Miss to seeing Kentucky get a huge win in Oxford, which was, I believe, the first time since 1978.
I kept saying that Ole Miss needed Junkins. Ole Miss needed Junkins.
I'll be right back.
They can't have him though.
Derek Ramsey.
Everybody was telling me that Ole Miss was going to be just fine without him. They had a great offseason. Didn't matter. They got good running backs. I said 100 times. Ole Miss lost Junkins. That was they blew their chance of being able to have a national championship contending team. They're not a national championship contending team, just losing him because they don't have as dynamic of a run game as what they could have had. You see that Dart is too reliant on Trey Harris. It's not enough there. They needed Junkins, would have balanced the offense out. They wouldn't have lost that game. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. You guys could disagree.
Yeah. By the way, Trey Harris had 176 yards yesterday.
Too reliant on him though. They don't have anyone else.
206. Ole Miss total pass for 261, and he had 176 of it. Yeah. So that's a heavy reliance on your number one receiver.
Well, what we really needed from Ole Miss was to see what they could do against a team with a pulse, and now we know. That was a crazy end of that game though. Like you see, like Kentucky fumbles it and it bounces right into the hands. Like that's a bit of a bad break for Ole Miss.
College football can be a bit of lucky though, a bit of luck.
There's a lot of luck involved.
Honestly,
you got to catch the break.
I wanted to see Ole Miss get that game-winning touchdown so I could just hear one more cut from Sean McDonald. Like it was like somebody must have told my birthday was getting closer or something because it was like when he was saying that, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm liking this game now."
Well, I remember in the Alabama-Georgia game, there was a pass that Alabama had where it got kind of bobbled.
This weekend.
Where he got tipped up in the air and managed to catch it. It kind of reminded me of the 23 catch for Auburn against Georgia, where it kind of bounced off the guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
The prayer and Jordan Hare.
Yeah, that's still one of the weirdest, best catches I've ever seen in my life. But in the Alabama-Georgia game yesterday, there was a pass that Alabama got kind of a little lucky on.
But yeah, Ole Miss just kind of felt overrated. Like, because that easy non-conference schedule where they're just padding the stat, they didn't really get a challenge from anybody. So maybe this Kentucky game is a reality check for them to just kind of get their act together.
Lane is not a championship coach. I'm sorry, he's not. He's a great offensive coordinator. I don't think any school wins a national championship with Lane Kiffin at home.
Yeah, it's. I never understood the hype. I don't understand the hype for Ole Miss, honestly, because I know they got a great offense, but it's just they always come up short in the big games. They can't get it done against the Georgias and the Alabamas of the world. They never do. And they're going to have to go to LSU.
They're clinging to back-to-back wins over Bama, and what was it like 14 and 15 those seasons?
Yeah, but that was with Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
But the Lane Kiffin teams, they always come up short in the big games.
I mean, it's just
there's
a ceiling to a program like this, though. I mean, like just where they're located. How good can Ole Miss really be? Maybe he hasn't as good as they can be right now.
I do want to say this though. and this actually is going off. It's not off topic, but it's off script here. Leanne does a great job on Ole Miss at the Voice of College Football. So she covers Ole Miss football, but that girl is very, very knowledgeable about college football. If anybody's not seen her yet, go over and check out the Ole Miss channel, sub it up, hit that bell notification, because I'm telling you right now, Leanne knows what she's talking about. She's really smart when it comes to college football. So her and Mark do a great job over on the Ole Miss channel. I think.
Agreed. Tell your friends, your family, your frenemies, and the cashiers at Publix about Ole Miss Live every Thursday, every week, right here on Ole Miss at the Voice of College Football, and it's also simulcast on SEC at the Voice of College Football. So don't forget to tell your friends and your family about Ole Miss Live. Stay tuned.
See, Jackson, that is a good Publix reference there, because most of the people that would be interested in the Ole Miss channel live near a Publix, right?
Yeah.
So maybe
there's not one Publix in Mississippi. There's not one Publix.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess
they're only in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama.
Tell all your friends at Piggly Wiggly about.
There we go. Absolutely.
And Jeffrey, are you studying? Jeffrey, are you studying marketing or something?
Tell your Chick-fil-A cashiers.
I love economics, and I love following businesses and where they're located. Absolutely.
Okay,
100%.
Good deal.
Sorry.
Definitely comes in handy.
He could not have looked that up in the time that I said. So it's like he just has that memory stored right here.
He does. Yeah.
Well, actually, Publix has 812 locations in 7 states, and these are them. So
the grocery store segment. Where is HEB located? Where is Winn-Dixie? Where is Kroger's?
Yeah, Kroger. How many Kroger?
Used to be in North Carolina, but they exited. They're only in Florida now, Georgia, and Alabama. I think they might have won Mississippi, but they might have closed. Dixie's shuttering badly.
Jackson, where are the Meyer located? The Meyer stores located.
All the Midwest, mostly Michigan.
But yeah, it's always interesting to see Ole Miss live, and you can also tune in Tuesday nights for Hoosiers live, Wolverines live, Cornhuskers live, Hawkeyes live, the biggest 12 on Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday's the loaded day at the Voice of College Football. There's the most content. I think of any day. I mean, the other days there's content every single day of the week. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But Tuesday's jam packed.
Yeah, and Shane does his show on Tuesday nights on West Virginia football, Voice College Football.
Yeah,
as well,
you can't forget Dave's here is correct. You got Fred Myers as well out Washington and all that. Two Myers, two different Myers.
Fred Myers is part of Kroger's.
Nerd out.
Is part of Kroger's.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't Matt do the Texas on Tuesdays too?
If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, absolutely. But on Monday through Wednesday mornings is the college football show from Mark Rogers every Monday through Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, as Mark has some of the biggest experts in all college football join him to give their takes on what's going on in the biggest games of the biggest weeks. And don't forget, Thursdays, Fridays, instead of it being a morning show, they're basically a post-game show. So tune in Thursday night and Friday nights for the college football show at the Voice of College Football, and an exciting Monday lineup with Crimson Tide Live, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Longhorns Live, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we got a new show from Big Ten at the Voice of College Football. Tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You're not going to want to miss this Monday lineup tomorrow. Stay tuned.
Did Will bounce on us? Where'd he go?
I guess he had to go.
He might have got tired. Yeah. I actually didn't even come on last week because I was so tired, but I had to come on this time.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a week.
Do you mind, Jackson? Can I say
we going to talk about the Ohio State game?
Well, I want to talk about that. I just
don't
want
know
to
what there
know
is to talk
something.
about. I mean, it was like the most standard game of all time.
Well, no, like I was talking about this team earlier. South Carolina, I think South Carolina's a pretty good team. They should have beat LSU. They had 16 points
Beamer
taken off the
saving
board
a job.
thanks to the refs. And South Carolina's going up against Ole Miss right now this week, and Ole Miss just lost to Kentucky. Anybody giving South Carolina a chance against Ole Miss?
Yes.
Yeah,
Depends on
some
if Ole Miss
chance.
comes back angry.
I think Kentucky has a very good defense, so I don't know.
Let's go one at a time.
Interestingly enough, I would have given South Carolina a better chance if Ole Miss had like beaten Kentucky by 3 touchdowns. I think this is a week Ole Miss rises up and kind of buries them. That's my guess. That's my read. So it is nice though. I mean, not having these SEC teams pigeonholed to these divisions, because you get more of this match. You get a lot of these matchups that these teams were in the same conference, but they would only play once every 6 years.
Yeah.
Like legitimate. I mean, like that was a narrative that a lot of the SEC East teams. Yes, Thurl, I'm talking to you. Like to play up the strength of the conference, and you hardly ever play any teams from the good side of the conference. So,
You want to hear a crazy take?
Yeah.
The real thinks that Kentucky would make the playoffs 8-4.
That is not going to happen.
No, I looked this up before the year. Like in the 10 years of the college football playoff, I think there might have been like 1 or 2 teams that were 8-4 that would have gotten in on the 12-team playoff based on the ranking. They would have been SEC teams, but there would have been like 1 or 2. Usually you would have to, like, if you get 3 losses, you're very, very unlikely to get in.
Unless you got a really, really, really tough schedule.
Right, exactly. But I'm saying, there would be like 1 team every 2 years that would have 3 losses that would get in with 3 losses. And there was 1 year, I think Auburn finished 8-4, and I think they were still in the top 10, 11, 12 when they in the final CFP rankings.
Yeah, but doesn't the 12th spot have to go to a group of 5 team?
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Top 11.
So really, you got to be top 11. And you probably have to have a notable win.
Oh yeah, you would. You definitely would have to have probably more than 1.
I think it's a crazy take to think Kentucky's going to make the playoffs if they go 8-4.
They wouldn't even make the playoff if they went 9-3. They would.
You got to remember something. South Carolina handed it to Kentucky. I mean, they beat them 30, what was it, 35 to 31 to 6?
I'll tell you this right now. I'm looking at Kentucky's next 3 opponents: Vanderbilt, Florida, Auburn. I mean, they're probably favoring all those games.
They could drop one of those games. Kentucky does it all the time.
Oh, they definitely can. But I mean, it's like
I feel like they would drop one against Auburn because they'll come off another heroic Florida win.
They lost to Vanderbilt like 2 years ago, or
oh my god, that was horrible.
Wasn't there like a few years ago? Where
it was Kentucky and Florida.
Tennessee.
Hey, we should talk about that Ohio State game.
Let's do that. Let's talk about Ohio State, Michigan State for just a little bit, because we don't want to be growing beards talking about Ohio State, Michigan until we're blue in the face.
I think
Jackson will be a little
quicker than me.
Who is Ohio State? They still have a football team? Oh, okay.
Yes, they have a football team. What did you say, Jeffrey? I couldn't hear.
I said I think Jackson would grow one faster than me, though, just by a little bit. You see that?
Hey, by this night, I could by the end of this night.
Yeah. Wouldn't be by much, though.
It's like 1 eternity later.
So Ohio State, they haven't played anybody. They haven't played anybody yet. I can't form an opinion on Ohio State. I really can't because they really haven't played anybody yet. So
It's how it is every year.
Yeah. So and this week was at Iowa. So I'm not going to be able to form a big opinion on that one. Maybe the next week when they play Oregon. I think next week. I think next week's the week to talk about Ohio State because I'm not going to be able to form an opinion about Ohio State.
Well, here's what I'll say about Ohio State. Great team. Don't get me wrong. Great team. But they have one thing that a lot of the championships they don't have one thing a lot of championship teams have, an elite front seven. They just don't got it this year. It's a good front seven. It's not elite. They don't create a lot of pressure. They don't get sacks. You can run on them. You can actually run on. You can run more on this front seven than you can pass front seven. Now, I will give them credit in this area. I think they're going to be a better run team this year. Obviously, I think they're.
You're saying that you're saying this in a week where they gave up 47 yards of rushing offense to their team.
Yeah,
they've got to be. They almost certainly one of the top 2 or 3 teams in rushing defense this year. Like almost.
But I understand that, but I'm taking into account the competition. Right. So speaking of the Michigan State,
have they proven that they're vulnerable in this area?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'll get to that. Speaking of the Michigan State game, that game really should have been a one-score, if not tied at halftime. Michigan State shot themselves in the foot multiple times. They were in the red zone 3 times, 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles.
True. So true.
2 fumbles. Yeah, 2 fumbles and a terrible play call on 4th and 1. That game really should have been a game. They just did what Michigan State does. And, yeah, did they end up slowing them down later? But that first half, they was moving the ball with ease. They just shot themselves in the foot. That front, I'm telling you, I even saw it versus Marshall. The first 2 weeks, they're playing good. But, the past 2 weeks, that front seven is not elite, man. And you're going to see it against better teams. I'm telling you right now.
Sorry, I lost internet for a second.
You're good, man. You are good to go, man. No worries. Dave Brown, did you see a little bit of Ohio State, Michigan State, or no?
What? Read my comment.
Oh, I remember watching Bo in the 70s, 100,000 peeps screaming, "Who's Ohio State?" Oh, man.
It was chilling. I wasn't but 15 or 16. It must have been 73 or 4. I was watching the game on TV, and I can never forget it 50 years later, man. I'm serious. Hearing all these people, I didn't quite understand it. They were saying, screaming, "Who's Ohio State?" And I realized then what a rivalry it must be between Michigan and Ohio State. I had no real. It's
something.
Oh, yeah. The old goosebumps and stuff, man. It tripped me out. Like, holy crap! I hope my team will have a stadium with 100,000. We got 60,000. We're up to 60 now. That's what I'm saying. It's small potatoes compared to big time programs. It's a great stadium. 100,000 people. 105.
And it completely dominates the state. I say this so like people don't understand like how big Michigan football is. I remember I went to I went out to a sports bar last year during the Michigan State game, and it was Michigan State was awful last year. That game was a total joke. Yeah. And I went to the bar and I asked if they could change like one of the 20 TVs to something other than the Michigan State game, and they said no. We need to have every single TV in the bar on the Michigan. But it's 42-0 in the third quarter. We've got games that are like they're like 1 touchdown fourth quarter games between ranked opponents. The USC Utah was going on at that time, and a couple other ones. It's like, but no. I mean, like it's a big deal here.
So, Sean, what were your takeaways from the Buckeyes, and what do they need to work on before they play Iowa next Saturday on CBS?
Okay, I mean, the
good night.
My takeaways are like that was about as standard of a game. That game went like exactly according to the script. Here, what do they need to work on here? I mean, I'd like to see a little bit of like improved linebacker play, specifically improve like linebacker coverage against those tight ends and those crossing routes over the middle of the field. You know, that's probably the weakest area of our defense right now. And God, Iowa can't really throw the ball, so I mean, I would like to see us dominate the line of scrimmage against Iowa and keep that running game from getting too much, without having to commit safeties down into the box, like maintain proper structure to the defense. But there's not, honestly, there's not a whole lot that I'm concerned about with the team. They are who they are. I mean, this is a very veteran team. We know what these guys are going to do. They're going to be capable of. So I don't know. I mean, there's not much I would say like they have to be prepared for. I want to see them go up against a really top defense. Iowa's defense isn't statistically where it's been like the past couple of years, but I still think this is a very talented, very strong defense. So let's see if they can keep this offensive production up. And they've been uber efficient. They're averaging like close to 50 a game, and they basically don't play the fourth quarter. Against these teams. Let's see if they can do that against a real defense. And Iowa has a real.
Hey, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Michigan State also should have had that pick in the end zone. That game should have been a lot closer than it was. I mean, we keeping it a buck. That game should have been a lot closer than it was. They had a pick in the end zone on OSU's first touchdown drive. That's a pick. If that's any other elite team, that's a pick in the end zone. Like I already said, they fumbled twice in the red zone, and they called a dumb play on 4th and 1. That game, OSU got to show me more, man.
But Michigan State's a solid team, and they stepped up on it.
No,
they're not a solid team.
No,
I think the Michigan State game is a toss up right now.
Oh,
that's No, I'm serious. I think that game could go either way.
I mean, are you going by what because they beat out Boston College? I mean, what did we base?
No, it has a lot to do with how average I think Michigan is. I mean, it's just not. They're two middle of the road teams, Michigan and Michigan State this year.
Oh God. Yeah, middle of the road team that's currently top 10 with a top 15 win.
Top 10. That's a reputational top 10. That is a top 10 based on
I don't think Michigan State's gonna beat USC if they played or when they play whatever.
I think they could. I think they could. I think Boston College could.
Okay, now you on one, man. Now you on one.
I mean, is Michigan State a significantly worse team than Minnesota?
They're probably on par. But, here's the thing.
I mean, Sean has a point, but Michigan is better than Michigan State.
Yeah, here's the thing. Michigan is the weirdest team in the country. They're the only team in the country that can win a top 15 matchup throwing the ball for 32 yards. I don't know any other team that can do it. They're a weird team. They're a team that dominates for 3 quarters, and then in 4th quarter, they let a team come back. Like, they're just a weird team. It's hard to judge Michigan. I remember last year.
I think if Ohio State was legally prohibited from throwing the football against USC, they would win.
No.
If they announced right before the game, Ohio State, you cannot throw the football. Like that's not.
No, OSU would lose by double digits. They're not built that way. OSU is not built that way. OSU needs the threat of the pass game for their run game to work. They can't run the ball with a stacked box if there's no pass game. Have they improved in the run game? I think personally, yes. I still need to see it against a really good rush defense, and we might see that. I don't know how good Iowa's rush defense is, Might see that this weekend. But the fact of the matter is, no. OSU will get blown out if they couldn't pass the ball against USC.
All right, so I'm going to say something about the Big Ten real quick. Surprise team in the Big Ten this year to me is Indiana. Talked about that a little bit at the beginning of this podcast. Indiana could legitimately go 10-2 in the Big Ten, finish third in the conference, and make the playoff.
They have a 40% chance, according to the FBI predictor, right now to make the playoff, which is just dumb.
Isn't that
crazy? I do want to say, though, I mean, the Indiana Voice of College Football channel launches on Monday, and then they're ranked on Sunday. Like, is that a coincidence?
Okay.
Did Mark foresee something? Did Mark foresee until the future?
No. I think it's the willpower of Jeffrey and the
I'm going to need to see more from them. And it looks like Maryland is down this year, and nobody's going to say UCLA was a good one.
Indiana, in theory, if the weather was better, which I know it sounds like excuses, but the weather, and there was a couple of stupid calls, like no one watched the game. There was a couple of stupid calls that really aided Maryland in that game. Indiana probably could have won that game by 25 to 30 points. Legitimately. They dominated. The yards, they just dominated them. But, hey, they still won by 14. And actually, I mean, they were up 21 with like 2 minutes left. You know, I mean, they handily beat them.
Their offense is legit. But, I mean, there's going to come a time where they're not going to be able to score that 40-point average in game.
I agree. Absolutely. I mean, against Michigan and Ohio State probably. But against everyone else, Nebraska, Washington, Purdue, Michigan State, absolutely they could. I mean, if they could go 10-2, they'd have a shot to crack the playoff. Probably not, but they'd have a shot, depending on everything else.
And I mean, looking through Indiana's schedule, I think like Ohio State's nearly certain loss.
Yes.
But you also miss like a lot of the kind of like top. You don't play Oregon, you don't play Penn State, you don't play USC.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of winnable games, and if this team has shown the progress, like I think it's asking a lot from them to go the rest of the table with just losing one game to Ohio State. They'll probably lose something somewhere else in there, but a 10-2 Big Ten team is probably getting in the playoffs.
I mean, that's why they have a 40% chance, because right now they are favored according to the FBI predictor against every other team except Michigan and Ohio State, and they're barely.
Well, I looked at like right here. I'm looking at the ESPN predictor. Michigan, Indiana. Indiana has a 68% chance to win that game against Michigan.
They're favored to beat Michigan.
But hold
on. FBI is garbage.
The ESPN match
right now.
FBI is garbage.
Okay,
FBI is so bad.
Okay,
I never go by FBI. It's so bad.
Yeah, the FBI.
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite system.
I don't like it either. I'm just saying that
Just
Indiana's in the conversation, which is hilarious.
Just to put this in reference, ESPN put out their updated top 25. Michigan is not in ESPN's current top 25 rating. That's how much they dislike Michigan. So no,
it's completely objective, though. Like that FBI.
Yeah, but Sean, you could just look at the history of FBI. They're wrong. It's wrong all the time. It's probably the most inconsistent.
The reason why it's wrong is because it updates week by week. It's based off the results that you have against every team. It changes.
Well, you know why it's so wrong though? It puts it weighs recruiting classes too heavily. I don't even think you should. I think you should just go by the play on the field. And then
the FBI has Kansas ahead of West Virginia right now. West Virginia just beat Kansas, and the FBI Kansas is 1-4, right?
It's
and it has the FBI has them ahead of them.
Right. That's the only reason.
Last year, after Alabama lost at home by double digits to Texas, Alabama was the number 1 on the FPI. The day after Texas went to Tuscaloosa,
it's a broken metric. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that Indiana is in the conversation, which is hilarious.
I will say this though, I do think Indiana potentially could beat Michigan.
Oh yeah,
I'm just going to say that.
I can see that. I mean, it could have. I'll go as far as say it could be on big noon kickoff.
Indiana right now, and I'm not saying they're going to win because again, any of these games, I still don't trust them completely. But Indiana right now is favored by 13.5 against Northwestern on the road. When has Indiana been a 2-touchdown favorite on the road in the Big Ten at all in the last 25 years? Never. I don't care how bad Northwestern is.
They got a West Virginia boy coaching them. What can I say? They got a West Virginia boy coaching them now.
Did Signetti go to West Virginia?
Oh,
yeah, he's a graduate. He's an alum of
his dad was a coach too.
Did we cover? I think we covered Oklahoma State, Kansas State, but we did not cover Arizona, Utah tonight, and we didn't cover TCU, Kansas.
They missed Cam Rising.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just Cam Rising not playing situation.
Yeah, they're such a different team if they have him or if they don't. And
will he ever come back?
That's a good question.
I think he's holding out for another medical red shirt so he can.
Can he even do that?
Yes. I mean, we saw it with
Cam
you can only get one medical red shirt.
Yeah, we saw the
Cam McCormick. He's in his 9th. He graduated from. He's going to his high school reunion this summer, and he's going college football. Yeah.
He's been playing in college since Patrick Mahomes was in his last year at Texas Tech. Let that sink in. Right?
Yeah. I mean, we got a quarterback, Tuttle. He's on like his 13th year.
Yeah,
he accomplished what he wanted, Mike. He said he wanted to win a national championship. He did.
Yeah,
I'm happy for him.
I wish he would have done it with you guys and then left.
Oh man, like McCormick sitting there in a rocking chair going, in my day, we had Patrick Mahomes in college, Deshaun Watson, and old man. Get in that rocking chair. Here's your blanket.
JT Barrett was at Ohio State for about 15 years.
Justin Herbert was oh man, it's like he played with Herbert at Oregon at one point. Like, oh my god.
So that was my favorite thing going into the draft this year. Both Justin Herbert lost 2 games his senior years. And the quarterbacks for those teams were Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels.
I swear that guy is going to be there so long to the point that we're going to need a new narrator to replace the old one.
The old narrator got so tired of waiting, they had to hire a new one.
Guys, I'm going to get out of here and stuff, but it's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning here, and
Nice,
things. But I love you guys. Thank you so much, Jackson, for inviting me on tonight. I appreciate.
Oh, you're
appreciate
welcome.
that. Everybody have a great night, and hey, catch us over on the West Virginia channel. Check out we've got some great shows over there. You enjoy yourself. We just hang out, have fun, talk some college football, and we don't just talk West Virginia. We talk just like this right here. We talk about everything. So you guys have a great night. And I promise when I leave, I'm not going to end the stream. So,
Are you sure?
Thank you for the invite, George.
Be very careful.
I've been around the block a time or two. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, I gotta go too. I'll just end it on this, man. Iowa's gonna upset Ohio State this weekend. Stay tuned. Alabama, it will win the national championship. I'm convinced of it. I don't think anyone can stop Alabama. I'm just keeping it a buck.
I hope that happens, Michigan, man.
Yeah, I just got
that or Indiana, but that won't happen.
Look, man, this is
Iowa beating Ohio State. I like Iowa's chances of getting a beer with Miss Kitty at the Long Branch more than I do than beating Ohio State. That's just not happening.
Yeah, those odds.
Well, I guess we'll see, man. But what will happen is Alabama will win the national championship. They're just too elite on both sides of the ball. And you know what? They got a Michigan man over there in the secondary, and I think he took some of that championship DNA, which they already have some. Don't get me wrong, but he added even more championship DNA because he won championship last year. So, peace out, go blue. We are the kings of the Big Ten. All Big Ten teams right now are peasants to us, and sometimes we got to come down and say hello.
But slate well, Michigan man.
Man, I've watched a lot of games this season, more than ever actually. So I try to keep up with you guys. And I must admit, I missed about 3 hours last night because I was crying over that Notre Dame game. It took a while to regain my composure. But,
it happens, man. It happens.
Yeah,
but I will say, I will say, Dave, you're going to be very happy seeing what Jeff Brom's doing at Louisville. Like, you're going to see an ACC title one of these years. It's going to happen.
Well, I got to the title game last year in his first year. I'm not happy with the quarterback we had last year, and I think I got a better quarterback this year. So I've got a lot to look forward to. Yeah. Losing 3 games in a row at the end of the season, losing to Kentucky for the umpteenth time in the last 10 years. All this shit, it's difficult. But look, Kentucky's not that shabby, shall we say, because they've had some good games this year and one bad one, really bad one. A lot of football left to be played. I'm still looking at Texas a little bit. As one of the, they are, I think, one of the strongest teams in the country and a potential title contender. Yeah, you guys, I know Jackson loves Alabama. I got nothing against Alabama. Look, Barrett Bryant was up here in Kentucky first before he went to A&M and then Alabama. So.
True.
Like I said, I've been watching football a long time. Got a lot of respect for these old guys. Clinton Collier coached underneath Barrett Bryant and then went on to do great things at Cleveland. After Paul Brown quit coaching.
Is Paul Bryant, Bear Bryant still the winningest coach?
And Paul Brown was at Ohio State too, wasn't he?
Ohio State fans. 1942 and 1943.
I think they won a national title.
Yep, 1942.
So, like I say, I've seen some good coaches, some good football. I'm an old guy, so I'm old school. So I'm learning a lot from these younger guys. I'm loving it, man. I still have a big problem. I've seen Sean over at Mark Rogers, and I've still got a problem with his top 25, and stuff like that, because he doesn't even know how to. I don't think he's ever heard of Louisville, but that's him. I'm
how are we supposed to say this? Because I have family that's in that area. That's in the. I'm not even going to say the name of the town right now. How are we supposed to say it?
Lou, as in Uncle Lou. As in E is an elephant. Louis, as in King Louis, which we're named after. King Louis. It's not Louisville. It's Ville.
I always pronounce it wrong. I always say it.
See,
Southern slang. I don't know.
Because I don't want to talk like they're hillbillies and stuff. Louisville.
I'm not a hillbilly. I still say Louisville.
It's like the way my cousins pronounce it. It's like there are no vowels in the word at all. Just like Louisville.
At least I would go Louisville. How
is that a word? Louisville. I'm from Louisville.
I'm trying to get better, Dave.
Just do it like Eddie Orgeron and call it Whoa.
Most of the people around here think I'm an idiot, and I just say it the way I was taught and the way it's logically, Anyway, I'm a city hillbilly, so I guess we're different around here.
Yep.
Yeah, there are different types of
I live in Kentucky, and I hate Kentucky. Let me tell you real quick why I don't like Kentucky. Back in the 70s, when Kentucky was notoriously mostly white, one of my classmates from high school called me an in lover because I was a Louisville fan. We had integrated before Kentucky did, and that just stuck with me forever. I've hated Kentucky ever since then. You know, that Adolph Rupp thing, and you know that they just didn't. You know, it was different before they integrated. We did, and I became used to it. I was, you know, I don't know. It was just weird.
A controversial first name, I would say, Adolf. His name's spelled different though.
That's true too. Yeah.
And he was born. He was born at a time when that name probably didn't bear any of that baggage at all.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Well, I know who you rooted for in that movie Glory Road.
Sorry, Jim, or Dependent Fanatic. I shouldn't have made that joke. I'm sorry.
I never got over it.
But on a lighter note, let's get the voice of college football to 100,000 subs.
Oh.
All the channels combined have 100,000 subs, but the main channel itself doesn't have 100,000. And as Jack said,
what's the main channel at right now?
It's at 45,000. Yep. Oh, speak of the devil, we got another Louisville Cardinal. He is the one and only himself, the co-host of the Final Whistle Pits Analysis with yours truly, and the creator of Sports Talk with Austin Williams.
And Austin, before you introduce yourself, we are all heartbroken that you couldn't follow through in your cold hands routine based on Louisville not pulling out against.
Such a letdown.
Yeah.
Listen, John, listen. I had a 15-minute rant session last night on my show with Jackson.
I can attest to that. You did.
Because what I saw was freaking ridiculous. 3 turnovers. Riley Leonard running up the dang gut every time. Like, seriously, are we not going to try to stop him? Jaden Greyhouse wide open, and it's like, anybody going to cover? Like, they're sitting here calling their girlfriends on their dang phones. Just like, hey, what's up? You want to get pizza? Oh, hold on. I'm going to catch this football. There's no one near me, but let me.
You want to get some Papa John's?
Like it's ridiculous. And even after all that, we still had a chance. That's the thing that makes me more upset. We still had a chance.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, and you can check out the Austin Unleashed moment at the 1 hour 13-minute mark.
Yeah, that was my nickname for it. Was the Austin Unleashed segment of the show. He went off, absolutely off, complete rant mode, and I loved it. It was epic. I hated it for Austin though. I hated it at Louisville. Louisville did not win, but
Louisville.
Hey, it was an awesome rant, man.
but yeah, it's Austin's had to deal. He's had to deal with a few of my venting sessions, so it's like he doesn't have enough venting sessions.
Hey, all you got to do is check out my Carolina Panthers video after they lost to the Saints in Week 1. That was a rant video.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
All I got to say is, it's on to SMU. We're going to put that game behind us, on to SMU.
There you go.
That's right. Is that game at SMU? Where is that game being played?
That's going to be at Louisville, I believe.
It's here.
It's at FK Papa John's Stadium,
formerly known as.
Yes, sir. L&N Stadium.
Yep. I still can't believe we're calling Cal Miami a conference game. It's like, good God.
It's natural rivals. Come on, Cal Miami.
Yeah, College Game Day looked at the slate for week.
Okay, so it's at Louisville, but SMU doesn't have a single home game for October.
Yikes.
That is
Do they have a bye week mixed in there?
Yes, they do. Fortunately, they do.
Yeah.
And that's on October 12th.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, Justin Hardy, I will say you're gonna love. You love Alabama football. Well, I can just tell you, you're gonna love Alabama at the voice of college football. Stay tuned Monday afternoons and stay tuned for the post game show, and you will see some more people than Johnny and myself. I can tell you right now.
Future content, absolutely. That channel's gonna be rolling just like Bama.
Yep. Oh yeah, you're gonna be very happy, Bama fans. That I can personally guarantee.
Speaking of Alabama,
I've been promoting myself enough, but Jeffrey, what you got going on in your adventures this week?
It's been a great week of college football. I've been enjoying the games so far this season, and I've been covering a lot of it. I don't know, is this the promotion part here?
Yep, we can tell.
Okay.
We tell everybody where to stalk you online.
Okay, well, if you want to stalk me, first you can find me at Only Talk Sports. That's my YouTube channel where I talk everything: college football, college basketball, NFL, and the NBA. NBA is irrelevant right now, so no NBA content. But NFL, college football, I even throw in some college basketball with recruiting. You can check me out over at Only Talk Sports, where I do talk sports for now every single day, or at least I try to. I had a moment in the summer where I wasn't posting that much, but I'm back, and the content is coming. And you can also follow me on Twitter as well, Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports. And also, you can find me at the Voice of College Football on the Indiana channel, the new Indiana channel that exists, that Mark himself said he did not think would ever exist. Well, it's happened, folks. Indiana at the Voice of College Football is a real thing. We're getting it rolling, and I had my first live stream on the main channel last Tuesday at 7. And this week, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the Indiana channel. Trying to make that happen. A lot of stuff sorting out. But if we get it on there, hopefully you guys will go subscribe at that link. If you like the Big Ten, you like Indiana, or you just like football in general, you're going to love that channel. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about Indiana, the Big Ten, and college football. That's what I do on my channel, Only Talk Sports. That's what we're going to be doing at Indiana, the Voice of College Football. So it's going to be a lot of fun and add to an already exciting college football season.
Austin, where can they find you online?
well, if they want to find me, Jackson, or stalk me, as you like to say, they can find me at Sports Talk with Austin 2000. Yes. I mean, you still got to respect our privacy. Now, if you want to pick on Louisville, that's fine. I'm here for it. We deserve it after the game we had this weekend. Pick away. Maybe it'll do us some good. But you can find me on Sports Talk with Austin 2002. You can find me on Twitter at Austin W 1980-2639, where I just go over my takes on the Cowboys. I talk a little Louisville. I promote all my videos, promote all my shows with Jackson, and sometimes my shows with Jeffrey if he ever decides he wants to do anything with me. Because I don't think Jeffrey loves me anymore. But that's where you can find me if you want to. Go Cards.
Go Cards.
Future content will be happening with Austin. A lot of stuff going on.
Well, Sean Garner, what have you got planned in your upcoming adventures?
I have a trip to bed planned pretty soon here but no, you guys, Jackson will drop the link to my Twitter X account. You can give me a follow if you'd like. Other than that, just you can catch me here on the various programs on the Voice of College Football. I hope if Jeffrey opens up a live call-in show or a live chat, I'll make sure to drop by there so we can talk some Indiana football. But get that StreamYard working, Jeffrey.
We gotta have it happen. I'm still working on it.
Awesome.
Note to self: let's set up a DeReal call-in for Jeffrey. Get him calling in on either Only Talk Sports or Indiana at the Voice.
Oh my
football.
Lord!
Indiana Kentucky discussion. That'll be a discussion of the century.
DeReal would break my brain, but I would be all here for it.
Right. Yeah. Great week of games, guys. I thoroughly enjoyed it all, and thank you for bearing with us through our technical issues tonight. I appreciate, love all you guys, and I'll see you here next week.
We'll be seeing next week, man. And Dave, what you got going on in your adventures?
Well, I don't do sports on my channel. I do bourbon because I'm the bourbon hunter. But be following Austin because I've listened to Austin a couple of times. I think maybe on Jeff's show or something, I believe. But I talked, listened to Marcus Maven last night. If you know, Austin probably knows Marcus. Used to play basketball for us about 25 years ago. But it was a real hard night for us yesterday. But I'll keep listening to everybody because I enjoy getting the full scenario of what's going on. You guys have a lot of insight on different teams, and I wouldn't get that insight just by reading articles on ESPN or here, there, or the other. You guys got a lot of knowledge about different players. To look at the injuries that are going on. The flows different teams have, whether it's good or bad at the time. So I like your up-to-date info. Keep it up, fellas.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And traveling fools, what's on to all of you guys. He's the other orange guy, Miami. I've still got my Miami jersey because I was a hired Snellenberger fan first before he came to Louisville.
Wow.
Nice. Got that natty back in 82 or 3 or 83.
83.
And we get to you, Mike Fort.
Yeah, I actually had a couple months ago I made a Facebook page, but that's about the extent of what I have on social media. So you can find me absolutely nowhere. In fact, I'm trying to be on Voice College Football a little bit more. And I've been kind of MIA for a while. I apologize for that. But I tell you, if I ever make a Twitter/X account, you'll all be the first ones to know.
Definitely. I'll follow in a heartbeat. I followed Sean. I followed Sean. Like he had like barely any followers. I had to really search for it. Didn't even have a profile pic. I'm like, there it is. I got Sean.
There you go.
I found it.
Everybody's got to have a first.
Yeah. See if you know how eager Jeffrey is to please, he'll even follow me. Like that's how nice of a guy he is.
I follow everybody. I try to keep up with everybody as best I can. Like, absolutely. I mean, I don't care if you got 10 followers. I'll follow you. Like, you just look at my follower list. I mean, I follow everybody that I can. And Sean is worth a follow. Absolutely.
Sean, he's trying to get that Elon Musk money. Or as Jackson likes to say, the daddy Elon money.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't
if anyone follows my Twitter account, they can they know exactly how much I love Elon Musk. And what a big fan I am of him.
But gentlemen, what do you guys want for Christmas? I know it's a little too early, but what do you guys want for Christmas?
I just wanted Austin to do that pole dance so much that would have been
nothing else will come close. Nothing else will compare.
No,
because
it's just like you can hand me a Lamborghini. I'd be like, yeah, that's nice.
It doesn't suffice.
But
because I was going to say, gentlemen, might I suggest putting this book on your early Christmas list? Because it is the disputed national champions, college football's historical 1990s reset, but written by the voice of college football himself, Mark Rogers. as you will learn what happened in the 90s, how the decade changed the sport, why the championship results should be questioned, how to critically think through the scenarios, and to appreciate the accomplishments of teams that were not recognized as champions. This book provides an in-depth analysis of the changes, controversies, outcomes that defined a decade of college football. You can buy it via Kindle and you can buy it via paperback. And I'm just going to tell you, it's going to come out 2 days before Halloween. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're looking to do some early Christmas shopping or to spoil yourself a little bit, go buy this book. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want it, especially if you love college football.
And if you're looking for a special way to celebrate my birthday, that is exactly when it comes out. So,
Jackson,
you can consider a birthday gift to me to purchase this book, and I will gladly.
You want to know something, Jackson? This is all fine and dandy, and I encourage everyone to go out and buy it. But Jackson, October is when we get in the cold months, and if someone gets a little chilly while reading this book, they might need a sweatshirt or something while they snuggle in and read the book. Do you know where they could get one? Perhaps from the Voice of College Football?
Look at that segue.
Oh, God.
Look at that segue by Austin.
That's a shameless plug.
Yeah. Yep. Time to get a promotion team.
That was good. That was
advertising right there. So here we go. It's already fall officially. So, oh man,
doesn't feel like fall where I'm at.
Me either.
We got weird Alabama weather over here. But here we go. TopQualityShirts.com.
Hey, I can attest the keychain is good. Okay, the keychain is good.
I've got one.
Yes, the keychain is fantastic.
If you want a little pep in your step, these little coffee cups from the Voice of College Football will do it. And, there's the notebook. It keeps all your secrets safe. If you need to have a venting session about work or family life or friends, whatever situation is bothering you, the Voice of College Football notebook will keep all your secrets safe.
I've always wondered, though, in these pictures, do the people come with it?
Does the dog come with them? Does
the dog come with it?
There you go.
Like does the dog come with the pet bowl, man? Because that's a great deal.
Say no to that face. I don't think anybody can say no to that face. I know I can't.
I know I could. And I love dogs and cats.
Sweet little doggy. Am I right?
Aww.
This little puppy wants you to buy some top-notch merchandise at the Voice College Football.
I mean, Jackson, you can sleep so much better at night if you get your dog that Voice of College Football dog bowl. I mean, come on. You'll feel so much better. He's eating nutritious out of the Voice of College Football bowl. You'll feel so much better that you know your dog is eating right out of a good bowl, a clean, healthy, good bowl.
There you go.
I can get rid of the tray.
Yep.
Step up
But,
to
if you got merchandise ideas, email Joey Foster at footballnewshour@gmail.com. So if you got any merch ideas, let him know and he will put it out there. You'll be very happy.
The Voice of College Football bird feeder should be next, right? I mean, literally, get all the animals presented.
I got one better, Jeffrey. I got one better. The Voice of College Football earrings and necklaces for your wife.
The Voice of College Football The Voice of College Football fingernail polish.
I don't know. You're pushing it now, Jackson.
If he gets an Ohio State merch, I vote for toilet paper.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
this is what happens when you stay up late, children.
This is what happens when you go after dark.
Yep. So it's like it'll make your head go like this.
Yeah, look at Ben. Now I have to go see how you all messed up the stream somehow. Hence part 2.
Shane did it, but I take responsibility for not preparing for that event all the same. So it's like,
By the way, since we have Ben here, this is of keen interest to him. Have we haven't touched on the most sensitive moment of the week for probably all of the After Dark followers. We did not catch the Dartmouth Merrimack. We have not touched on that this week, have we?
Mary Mac, baby.
God,
Mary Mac, and Ben can't kick anyone off. Ben has no power.
Jesus.
30
He
seconds.
fired all of us, though.
Only 30 seconds.
We're still on.
No. Let's touch on the topic of the week, which is the Dartmouth walk-off field goal against Merrimack. Dartmouth somehow makes it to week 5, playing one game. One game. Dartmouth won. Merrimack out here grinding their cock off week after week. and then these carpetbaggers from New Hampshire just show up, be like, "Hey, we are the Ivy League."
See, here's the thing, Sean. I was disappointed about the Louisville loss. I was even more disappointed when I found out Merrimack lost. It ruined my night.
I wanted Merrimack.
1-4.
I mean,
it shouldn't count.
On the planet.
It shouldn't count. Merrimack wore that down.
You need Merrimack.
They wore down in the fourth quarter because they actually had to play a real schedule. How do you lose? How does the team make it to this point in the season playing one game?
Jeffrey, you are a genius, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Merrimack merchandise. I think the whole world would love it. Merrimack socks,
college
Merrimack shirts.
Voice college football perfume and cologne.
The cologne works for me.
Yeah, I mean,
we can have voice of college football deodorant. If we're going to do perfume, I mean, maybe do body wash and shampoo.
I mean,
get the 4-for-1 going.
We're really getting personal now.
Yeah, we're
Starting to get PG-13, man. I mean, YouTube, it can get weird real quick.
Oh yeah,
but Austin's right though.
But gentlemen, since I'm supposed to let's all say the line at once.
Wait. Does everyone here know the line?
I know it. I know it now.
Something about a Pop-Tart spanking the referee. That's all I get.
There we go.
The referee's going to spank the Pop-Tart.
Let's let Jeffrey do this because he's the one who knows it.
All right.
We can't have a mess here.
The ones that know the line, we'll all say it at once. 1, 2, 3. Pop-Tart. Play us out.
Pop-Tart, stop spanking the ref.
Oh, he's never gonna stop, man. He's never gonna stop.
This feels like a hate crime to me, honestly.
I don't know. That ref likes it.
I've seen worse.
How was there not a flag on that play?
Yeah, that's a personal foul.
It is an extremely personal foul.
Bad.
You know why there's not a flag?
Very personal.
Because the referee lights it down and dirty.
Yeah, well, the ref only throws a flag if you don't like it. So true.
No, you can't touch.
Well, I guess the ref don't like Louisville since we couldn't get no flags.
Hey, they